You had to get the knowledge from somewhere. I like to think that we're not all born with this knowledge of everything. Almost everything that we do, we have to get that knowledge from somewhere, from someone. So us even learning how to talk, I wasn't just a little kid and then started just talking on my own. No, I had the information fed to me. I was hearing people say things. My mom used to practice saying words to me. My dad used to practice saying words to me. That's all knowledge coming into me. That knowledge that kept feeding into me allowed me to now speak to the way I'm speaking right now. Sure, it's not perfect English, but I'm speaking. Me being able to drive the way I drive, it's knowledge. It's my dad showing me how he drove the Stang years ago. My dad showing me how to go around those curves. That's all knowledge that I gain. That's why I drive the way I drive. Everything we do, we gain knowledge. So we're going to get back into it. We are at chapter 5, Think and Grow Rich. We're going to talk about specialized knowledge. There's two kinds of knowledge. There's specialized and there's general. General knowledge is basically, let's be honest, but a lot of the colleges and a lot of the universities, they feed you general knowledge. General knowledge doesn't really lead you to acquire money right away. General knowledge can be general knowledge about anything. It could be knowledge about caterpillars. It can be knowledge about bike tires. Not all knowledge will actually lead you to the riches. You need specialized knowledge. Now, where do you get this specialized knowledge? People may feed it to you, or you have to go out and seek that knowledge. In order for us to be successful in this business, you have to have that specialized knowledge. You're not going to wake up and know, okay, in order for me to become a millionaire, I got to do X, Y, and Z. No, you have our leaders telling us how they became a millionaire. You have books like this that make you think and make you grow rich, that lead you on the path to become a millionaire. So it's all up to you how you get that specialized knowledge. But the knowledge is there. You have the resources around you. It's up to you how far you want to stretch your hand and get all of that. So I'm going to give you an example of Mr. Henry Ford. He is well known for Ford Motors. People questioned his knowledge. People thought he was an ignorant man. They thought he was an ignorant man because he didn't know everything. But an ignorant man is not one that doesn't know everything. An ignorant man is not one that pushes away all of the knowledge. So let me get into Henry Ford a little more. He's more than just cars. He's actually a man that really you can learn a lot from. So he was taken to court, and the court, and I don't know who it was, but they questioned him. They said, you know what, Henry Ford, you're a very ignorant man. Put him on the stand, start questioning him, and start asking him questions like, who is Abraham Lincoln? How many people are in the House of Commons, or whatever they had? They started questioning him and asking these questions about politics and government. And you know what he told them? He told them, that's not the knowledge I need. I may not know everything, but I know what I need to know. What does that mean? Henry Ford was as successful as he was because he had something called mastermind. And I'm going to read you what a mastermind is. So basically, it's the coordination of knowledge and effort in the spirit of harmony between two or more people. And between these two or more people, it can be a group of people, it's getting the attainment of knowledge and a definite purpose of what you guys are doing together. So let me explain what this mastermind means and what it means to Henry Ford. Henry Ford didn't just become as successful as he is. He didn't know everything, and that's totally okay. But what he did have, he had a mastermind. So it was a group of people. Each person had their own knowledge to bring to the table. He wasn't ignorant. He was smart. He may not have known, I will read it. He may not have known everything, but he knew where to get his information from. So I'll repeat what a mastermind is. It's the coordination of knowledge and effort in the spirit of harmony between two or more people. It's for the attainment of a definite purpose. That's what a mastermind is. So mastermind is going to be a big thing. And mastermind is not about teamwork. We're not talking about teamwork, because I don't know about you guys, but I've been to many places and I don't like my team. My team hates me. Everywhere I go, nobody likes to work with Mel, because Mel's the B word. Nobody likes to work with Mel, and that's okay. My thing is, as long as we get to the end of the day and we accomplish what we need to accomplish, I don't care if you like me. And even in this business, I see it too. I don't care if you like me. As long as at the end of the day, I know you made money. I know you gained knowledge. I know you did something today. That's me. Henry Ford was the same thing. He didn't care if people liked him. He didn't care if people were against him. But he stayed educated. He had this mastermind in play, because when he was ready and he needed knowledge about this gear and that belt and that motor, he knew which people to handpick and go to get that information. So I'm going to use my clinic as an example. I ran the clinic like a boss because I knew the mastermind that I had. Yes, they were my team, but it wasn't about the teamwork. Teamwork is separate from the mastermind. Mastermind is knowing where you can get all your information from. Yeah, sure, I know what radiofrequent ablations are. I know what all of those are. But did I know where I can do this spinal tap? Did I know where to order the medical cannabis from and which LP was the best LP? No. It's okay that I didn't know, because I knew I could go to Mark Molina. He can tell me which LP works best. I know I can go to Sarah Roselle and she can tell me which spinal tap we should be doing. I know I can go to Dr. Kevin Rod and he's going to tell me, okay, for this MBA assessment, what we need to do. I had my mastermind. And it's okay if people within that mastermind didn't like each other. But I knew where I could get my information from. Perhaps I was part of somebody else's mastermind. It's so important that you have a mastermind in whatever you're trying to do. And this is where you're basically going to get all your specialized knowledge from. So back to specialized knowledge, it is what it is. It's specialized knowledge. It's knowledge that'll actually help you get somewhere. And a lot of this specialized knowledge, it doesn't come from college and university courses. It doesn't require you to spend tens of thousands of dollars. However, where does that university and college come into play? I may know just as much as any registered nurse, but I can't go and walk into the hospital and say, I want that registered nurse position. I have no credentials to back it up. I have no degree, no diploma, no certification. That's where the generalized stuff comes into play. And there's a part in the book where I felt like Napoleon Hill was kind of talking down on education, saying that you don't need it because the value you can gain from paying all that money, you can gain from probably a book or somewhere else. But then there was another part that kind of contradicted it right after that said, yes, you do need that knowledge, because that knowledge gets you the credentials to get to where you want to go. In order for me to be this big boss registered nurse, I got to have that damn certificate that says Melissa Romana is now certified to be a registered nurse. I can't just walk into the hospital and start performing procedures. I need that certificate. So I'm getting my generalized knowledge, but everything specialized, I'm putting it all together. Henry Ford was just like that, except he was minus all of the generalized knowledge. He was just about specialized knowledge. And I'm going to tell you something about Henry. Hey, morning. Hey, how are ya? Good. Sorry, guys. Henry Ford, he didn't have the education, but he was so successful. And I'm going to read you a part in the book where it talks about his education. Henry Ford had less than a sixth grade schooling. Less than a sixth grade schooling, but look at how successful he is. If you Google Henry Ford, his name comes up right beside Bill Gates and all of those big dogs, because he channeled into that specialized knowledge. Yeah, sure, generalized knowledge comes into play and works in your benefit for some things. Like if I want to be that nurse, I need that generalized knowledge. But if I'm trying to work into this business and become the millionaire that I'm so ambitious and so over my head and trying to achieve to be, I need that specialized knowledge. And you can find it from any book You can find it from any recording. You don't need tens and thousands of dollars of courses to give you that. It's a matter of you channeling into that knowledge and really seeing what's specialized versus general. If this is making sense, can you guys drop a 7 in the chat before I continue? I want you guys to understand what's the difference between generalized and specialized knowledge.
Can you just read out the definition again between the two?
Okay, so generalized knowledge is basically what colleges and universities provide. So I'm going to give you an example that makes sense. So you going into college, you're studying, I don't know, you're in a biodiversity program. They're going to teach you biology. They're probably going to teach you chemistry. They're going to probably have a course on plants. They're going to have a course on caterpillars. You could have read up on the caterpillars. You could have read up on a lot of the biology and chemistry stuff. They're literally nitpicking every little thing and making it into generalized knowledge. Generalized knowledge you can literally Google on Google or find in a book. Specialized knowledge is knowledge that you are handpicking that'll directly help you into attaining whatever it is. So me becoming a millionaire, I don't think you can go pick up one book and it's going to give you all of the steps into becoming a millionaire. It's a matter of you picking out the information and really differentiating what's general and what's specialized. Knowing everything is good, but knowing what's important is essential. Yes, and that plays a really big part. So I'm going to continue into part of this book where it talks about the knowledge and you being knowledgeable and how that really helps you. And this knowledge that you're gaining is not from any university or college course or any side course trying to take your money and say, okay, you're going to turn into a millionaire if you pay $500 for this course and you get all of this knowledge. No. I'm going to tell you how you can get the knowledge from reading books like this, from listening to people who have the success, from listening to audios, all of that stuff. So I'm going to use myself as an example. If you know me, you know I'm a perfectionist almost. I love doing everything top of the top. I like making sure all of my work is damn good. Do I ask for recognition for that? No, not really. I just want to know that everything I've done, everything I'm doing is top of the line work. So there's 2 things that they talk about within this book. You want to be sought out and you want to get that apprenticeship. And I'm going to use me as an example again. Back to the clinic. I went in. I understood what I was doing. I had my general knowledge because I studied for medical admin. So I had that. That's how I got the job. Great. Now it's time for me to do specialized knowledge. How did I get that specialized knowledge? I had to handpick. I had to look at everything that I was dealing with and find what was going to help me to get from here to up here. So that specialized knowledge that I gained from the clinic, I was looking at the doctors. I was looking at my coworkers that were there. I was looking at the people above me and what they were doing and how I could be there too. So I came in as somebody sitting at the front desk as a receptionist. But everything I observed, everything I took in, that became my specialized knowledge and put me up to lead receptionist. And then I moved from lead and I started looking at the supervisors, what they were doing. I was looking at the books that they were reading. I was looking at the procedures that we're doing. So I started doing that too. I got up to supervisor. Then I start looking at my CFO. I start looking at the CEO and I start imitating exactly what they were doing. I was looking now at what books they were reading, what audios they were reading, what movies they were watching, what were they doing during their free time. And believe it or not, as wealthy as they were still learning every chance that they could. My CFO was constantly in documentaries, watching about so many different things. We're constantly researching about different licensed producers for the medical cannabis. So whatever these top-notch people were doing, I was doing the same thing too. I wasn't about to spend 10 years in school or 4 years in a college program to get all of that knowledge, while I could have just looked at these people, get the knowledge, and bump up right away. So I used everything that I was seeing, everything I was learning that would help me get to where I wanted to go. Now let's go on to the other job, which is the retail job. Started as a sales associate. I wanted more. So I looked at the key holders. Okay, I got to key holder. I wanted more. So I looked at the assistant managers. Great, I got there. So I looked at the managers now. Great, I got there. So I looked at the area manager. Great, I got there. So now for me, I get bored when I've accomplished something already. And there's something that was on a call, and I think it was Matt Rosa yesterday, where he hit Chairman 500 and he lost it because he thought he reached the highest of the high. There really is no high. Your knowledge is limitless. The amount of knowledge you can gain is limitless. Like Mo said, knowing everything is good, but knowing what's important is essential. You can continuously gain knowledge. It just depends what kind of knowledge you're trying to gain. So let's say I'm sitting at Chairman 500 right now, and I think it's the top. I think there's nothing more higher. Okay, I'm getting all the money I can possibly get. What more can I do now? So I have all the money I can. What more can Melissa Romano do? Okay, I have the money. Now let me try something else. Let me utilize this money and maybe set up community centers. Let me try working in the community now. Let me gain my knowledge about the community and build into that. Now let's say I do my thing in the community, great. Now let's go international. Let's say I want to go back home and I want to build wells for my the villages that we have there. Villages that don't have the water, who have to walk kilometers and miles away just to get water. Okay, let's say I master that now. Move on to the next. Knowledge is infinite. There's no limit on that. It just depends what kind of knowledge you're trying to get. It just depends if the knowledge will actually help you get to where you want to go. A lot of you want to hit ranks. Do you have the knowledge to hit those ranks? If you think you have the knowledge to hit the next rank, drop a 777. If you have the knowledge to hit the next rank, drop a 777. Okay, so a lot of you seem to have the knowledge to hit the next rank. But let me ask another question, because not all of us are here to launch and build right away. Do you have the knowledge to do the next best thing in your life? Whether it's making that $1,000, whether it's paying off that car you just bought, whether it's being able to consistently stick to your plan. Do you have the knowledge to do all of that? So Reese says no. Denicia says somewhat. I know, it's a tricky question. To do the next best thing in your life, do you really have the knowledge? For those of you that are saying no, why not? Why don't you have the knowledge? Are you seeking out the resources to get that knowledge? Because whatever you want, I'm sure somebody else in this world wanted the same thing too. It's one thing to not have the ambition to do something, but it's one thing when you do have the knowledge and you're not doing anything with it. And I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. I have the knowledge to do whatever it is that I want to do. But I'm not doing it. I'm not taking advantage of that specialized knowledge. Now, when do you start taking advantage of that specialized knowledge? When you feel like you got nothing left, when you feel like your back is up against the wall. Maybe only then you're going to start taking advantage of that specialized knowledge. You have the resources. This chapter, and I'm reading these chapters as I'm doing it with you guys every single week. This chapter really opened my eyes as to what is general knowledge and what is specialized knowledge. And I realized I can find general knowledge on Google. I can find it in the tons and tons of books that I have. But specialized knowledge is different. I can't just walk up to a 6 or 7-figure earner and say, okay, how did you hit that rank? I can't do that. That's specialized knowledge. But here's the thing. I have the knowledge because I've asked 6 and 7-figure earners, how did you do it? And let's put launching aside. Or you can keep launching. But let's think about master traders too. So for those of you that want to launch and you want to build, for those of you that want to trade and master the charts, have you had the opportunity to talk to somebody who has been able to build, who has been able to master the charts? If you've had a conversation with one or the other, drop a 9 in the chat. It's okay how small the conversation was. It's okay if it was just a minute. Have you had a conversation with somebody who has the success that you want? And maybe they're not the biggest master trader or the biggest builder. Now, here's the thing. For those of you that didn't drop the 9, you've had the conversations. You've had the conversations already. It's just up to you how you see that knowledge. Y'all think these trainings are for nothing? No, they're conversations. And I'm going to say the 12-3-5-9. I know we don't follow it religiously, but 12-3-9 even aside, those midnight heater calls, those morning calls, those are conversations. It just depends how you take those conversations. Kim's go live session, that's a conversation from her to you. Oren Wright teaching about candles and wicks, how to master the charts. That's a conversation from this dude, God knows where he is, to you. Morning dedication with Anta 2 days ago after she smacked C25. That was a conversation from her to you. That was a conversation from her to me. That was the first building conversation in the past few weeks that really touched a part of me. Because she humbled down. That money didn't get to her head right away. I don't think it will. But she humbled down, and I really understood the surface of what she was saying. And for those of you that were on that call, she talked about the 400%, giving your days 400%. Whether you're building or you're trading, or even if you're working, whatever you're doing, giving your days 400%. What does that mean? Knowing where your time is going. Every hour of your day, what are you doing? You should be able to account for every single hour of your day. And if you don't, you got to reevaluate your schedule, reevaluate your game plan. Tomorrow, you guys should know what you're doing already. You want to build your team? Okay, you should know how many people you intend to talk to. Today, you should have a list of people you intend to talk to. You want to be a trader? Okay, you should know which go live sessions you're going to be on. You should know which live trading sessions you're going to be on. You do an HFX? Okay, so at 7 o'clock, I expect Money in Minutes to be on your thing. At 8 p.m., I expect you to be on Evans Basics. Okay, if you're not doing HFX, you're doing basic Forex stuff. Okay, so come 3 a.m. in the morning, you should be on Sensei. Come 2 a.m., you should be looking at London setups. You guys should know the value of your day. Your day should be 400% worthy. Planning out your week. So this is where self-knowledge comes into play. All of the knowledge has been given to us. It's up to us how we see it. You've had the conversations with the people that had the success. Maybe it's not them saying, hey, Mel, how are you? How you doing? You got to do this. You got to do that. No, they're having a generalized conversation that we've had access to. So if you guys understand the difference between having generalized knowledge versus specialized knowledge, can you drop a 777 in the chat? And I'm going to conclude it with one more example that I personally had this weekend. And I'm going to talk about, and I'm sorry if this makes some of you guys uncomfortable, but I'm going to talk about the LGBTQ community within the Indo-Caribbean community, I guess. So it's something, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but it's something that needs to be normalized. I thought I had it all figured out. Sure, I can go and look up general knowledge from Google. Okay, what does LGBTQ mean? Okay, what does this mean? What does that mean? But was I getting the specialized knowledge for it? Meaning knowledge that was actually going to help me relate to somebody who is going through something that isn't normal in our community? Was I getting that knowledge? No. And I was lucky enough to be on this wonderful presentation, or I don't even know what you want to call it, but it wasn't just a call. It was someone taking out a part of their life and sharing it and exposing it and being courageous enough to do that. I went and I got my specialized knowledge, because that knowledge is now going to help me in the way I move going forward to different people who are experiencing all of that. So it's up to you how you want to get your knowledge. You can define it as general knowledge, or you can make it specialized knowledge. And just to really go back to the specialized knowledge, it's something that will help you get to where you're going. Not everything is about money. Not everything is about building. It's about helping you get to where you want to go. So with that being said, I hope you guys know what kind of knowledge you're looking forward to, whether it's general or specialized. Whatever you want to do, believe me, there's someone in the world, somewhere in the world, that's going through the same thing, and they probably have what you're looking for. And if you guys are reading this book with me every week, please reread that chapter, because there's so many different relations between big figures who started from nothing. They used that knowledge, turned it into idea, and put it into action. Having the knowledge is one thing, but using it together with action is another. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay blessed, stay safe, and stay cool, guys.
I appreciate you so much. Always. I'm super thankful and grateful, not only for you, not only for this environment and this space, but literally for the fact that we have so much information, we have so much education flowing through. And, you know, we've set up an environment where now we're able to have one person, whether it's me, whether it's Mel or whoever else, you know, comes on these calls and relay this information back to you. So now you're gaining that extra knowledge, right? And this is information that is specifically here to help us on our journey along the way. So, hey, maybe this is some specialized knowledge that we can take along with us on our journey as we move within these spaces. The book talk the past couple weeks, literally, like, once you start to break down each chapter and you start to look at the main reasons or the main principles that it takes for you to become successful, you start to not only make more sense of it, but when you have Mel coming on and kind of putting anecdotes behind it and giving a deeper explanation, a more modern day explanation, now you're getting, now it's becoming more relatable. Now you're making more sense of it. Now you're able to apply it to your real life, or now you're able to see where it fits into your personal situations, your general situations. So again, Mel, I appreciate you. I'm definitely going to piggyback off what you said a little bit. Not necessarily just in knowledge, but you touched on planning. You touched on just knowing your day and having, you're being able to hold yourself accountable for every hour of your day. You need to know what you're doing throughout the day or whatever. And, you know, basically in terms of just being aware of your surroundings, being aware of what it is that you're doing, right? You should be going into tomorrow already knowing what you have done for, or have planned for tomorrow. You should be waking up today just ready to smash your goals. Like, everything should be set out the night before. If not the night before, wake up early enough so that you can plan out your day. So you can plan out and see, okay, what is it that I have to get done today? All right, at this time, I'm going to be here, here, and here. I'm going to be learning this, and that. I'm going to be tending to whatever the case is. You make time to eat, you make time for family, you make time to study, you make time for the trainings, whatever the case is. Every single hour of your day, you should be able to know exactly what it is that you're doing, exactly what it is that needs to be done. So that way you're tracking time, right? You can't really hold time. Time is going to be here regardless. Time is going to come and it's going to go regardless of what you decide to do, right? But once you start to plan out your day, you start to put in into your schedule, okay, at this time I'm going to be doing this, and this now. When you're having a more productive day, and two, now you don't feel like you haven't gotten anything done just because you're moving through your day aimlessly. You're picking up something here because you feel like, you're picking up something there because you feel like it. No, now we're able to say, okay, but by 12 o'clock, this and this and this needs to be done. Cool. 12 o'clock comes, we're on the training, right? Between that 1 and 3 p.m., find something else to do, whether it's calling your team and picking up the phone and getting to know people, whether you're diving into your own education a little bit deeper, whether you're hopping on the Go Lives or you're tapping into a different type of learning, whatever the case is, find something for your time blocks to be occupied by. And that way you're not like, oh, well, shoot, now it's already 5 o'clock and I really haven't done anything for today. Now I've just wasted 6 hours and I haven't really done anything for today, right? Some of us woke up literally just before this call started, if not midway through this call, where other of us may have been up from 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, hopping on Go Lives, hopping on the morning dedication, hopping on different trainings, or just looking at the charts, and seeing, okay, what are the setups looking like for the week? Or am I understanding how to read these things a little bit better, right? So what are you really doing with your time? What are you doing when it comes to planning out your day, your time, your schedule? Because that's going to help you and allow you, again, to say, move within the space more flawlessly. Now you don't feel like your days are so long, or now you don't feel like your days are just passing you by, because you know that you've actually done something with your days. You're not waking up and you don't even know what day it is, because you're just a couch potato, whatever the case. I know none of us are couch potatoes, I'm hoping. But how many times do we lose track of our days just because we keep waking up and sleeping and not even realizing, right? Or how many of us don't know what day it is because we've literally just been around the clock, just on the grind, working, not even realizing, right? Time is gonna go regardless. So it's up to you what you wanna do with that time while you have it in this present space, in this present moment. Right now we're here and we're present on this call. It's 11:10 a.m. We're present on this call, right? We're here with one another. We are educating, we're learning, we're grabbing gems, whatever the case is. Cool. What does the rest of your day look like? Are you just waiting for a call to get blasted in these chats for you to finally get up and do something? Or have you structured out your day around these trainings so that you can gain that specialized knowledge for you to actually see the success that you want to see? Whether it may be building or trading or HFX or whatever the case is, right? How are you scheduling out your time? How are you planning your time? Okay. Now there are two things that are constant, which is time and change, right? Regardless of what happens, time is going to continue to move. And regardless of what happens, change is always going to be made, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you want to happen. It doesn't matter what you may think might happen, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you want to stay exactly where you're at and just be content. Understand that things change, time changes, the world changes, right? So you have to change and adjust and move with the times, move with the world. Otherwise, you're going to end up getting left behind. You're going to end up getting basically like just cut out of your own future, right? Remember, we say we live in history. This is history in the making, right? We have not made it to our destination. We have not made it to our future, right? We are on the journey there. Don't get it twisted. We are on our way there. We are in the process, right? We are finding, we are failing along the way to learn what to do and what not to do. We're finding our success along the way as we hit little stepping stones and little monumental moments or whatever the case is along the way, right? Well, understand that the journey is still deep ahead of us, okay? So now we have to look at the fact that if I want to get to my future, I need to be able to plan it out correctly. And I need to know exactly where I'm going to go, right? You don't see people building a house without their blueprint. You don't start to see people working on foundations or working on the basis of everything before having a blueprint of knowing, okay, where am I going to go to next? What is going to be the next step after this? Right? It doesn't make sense, because then you have to go back and try and undo something. And it's hard to undo something when it's done, especially when it comes to the movements you make and the decisions you make in life, right? You have to be here in the present moment and understand that if you want to get to your future, you have to plan it out. You hear Beef say it, the future is predictable because I know what I'm going to do. I know what I want to do. I've planned out my future. I've planned out the things that I want to get done, right? So the future is very predictable. It's just a matter of planning the work and working the plan. Because you can plan it on top of that and then you don't put the work behind it. That's a whole other situation. That's where you want to actually stick to that schedule when you actually make that change, right? But like I said, going back into planning out your future and stuff, you want to break it down. What I would say is look at the overall goal. Look at the overall end goal. What is your vision for your future? What is your vision for whatever space you're currently sitting in, whether it's music industry. And we have a couple artists on this call. Whether it's being here within this space, we have some people who want to be master traders. We have some people who want to be chairwoman, right? Whether it's a medical field or opening up what's called those centers. Wow, I'm totally blanking on the name. Community centers, there we go, right? What is your overall end goal of something that you want to get done? Cool, now you have that overall end goal. Now you can't move within your space every single day as if you're going to finish that end goal tomorrow. Because by doing that, you're going to end up sitting right here in the same spot over and over and over again because it becomes overwhelming, not knowing what steps you need to take, not knowing the things that you necessarily need to do all the way to get there, right? So you break it down as much as you can until you can't break it down anymore. And then once the vision starts to get clear, you go back in and look at your plan and just make sure that everything's still in alignment. Can I add anything else to make it even better? Can I take away some things that I already realized don't work to kind of just revamp it or change it a little bit? But it's tracking your progress. You're tracking how far you've come. You're tracking, okay, what's got to be my next move, my next step, or whatever the case is, right? But understand that you can't change without planning. You can't expect to change if you don't put in that effort to plan your change. This is where the paradigms come into play. And this is why when people say, oh, I'm going to do this and this and that in a year or two and end up in the same spot in a year or two, that's because you didn't effectively plan your goal. You didn't effectively map out your life or map out your game plan for where it is that you want to go, right? So by not doing that, you haven't really moved anywhere because now you have your paradigms holding you back. Now you have your old habitual behaviors stopping you or distracting you from the goal at hand, from the task at hand to actually propel you forward, right? The voice in the back of your head that says, let me just sleep a little bit longer. Let me just lie down just a little bit longer. Or I don't want to hop on a training today. I'm not feeling it. Or I don't want to take any notes today just because I just want to listen. It's okay. It's cool. But understand a lot of the time that's your paradigm talking to you. You always want to try and do the opposite. Literally just do the opposite because that's going to start to allow you to break those habits. When you want to lie down and sleep a little bit longer, that's when you need to get up. When you don't want to hop onto a training, that's when you need to hop on that training. That's when you need to click that Zoom link. When you don't want to take your notes and you don't want to be fully attentive to what's happening, that's exactly when you need to be fully attentive. It's exactly when you need to be taking your notes, especially when it comes to this space, because now that's your specialized knowledge. That's the information that you're going to gain for you to see the success in this space. That's the information that you're going to gain that's going to help you take you to the next level, to help you make that withdrawal, right? So you just saying, I don't want to do it right now, it's just because of how you're feeling right now. You can't let your emotions deter you or sway the way you feel about this space or sway your decision that you've made to stay in this space and to grow within this space, right? We're dedicated to this space. This is not an emotional, we're not motivated to be in this space because if that's the case, a lot of us are not going to stay. If you're only motivated when it comes to this space, literally take a step back and just evaluate what you're doing. And it's okay to be motivated to be here. But as long as you know that you're dedicated in this space, you're showing up on the days you don't want to show up. You're showing up on the days where you're feeling your worst. You're showing up on the days where you're tired and you haven't slept and you don't want to plug in. Those are the days you need to show up. Those are the days you need to put in that effort. Those are the days you need to push that change, right? And how do we allow, or how do we have more of a foundation or more of a backing for us to actually get up and do something? By having that plan. Literally, what is your plan for the day? What are you going to do to move throughout your day? What are going to be the things that you have to accomplish through your day? It's literally as simple as that, right? But if you haven't planned anything, you don't even have the desire to get up. Now you're not even dedicated to the space because you're not taking it seriously. You're not taking the information seriously and actually processing how you want to move within this space. Where do you want to be by 3 months, 6 months, 12 months from now, 2 years from now? You're not planning that effectively. Like, I'm speaking from experience, right? Moving aimlessly through your days and through your weeks is going to leave you at the same exact spot that you were a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago, or a couple months ago. The exact same spot, right? And you don't want to be successful in public, like Gobif said this morning, successful in public, but a failure in private. And again, it's all right to be a failure, because understand that we fail forward. We take our failures as lessons so that we can continue to propel ourselves forward. But to the point of that statement is, you're showing up for social media. You're showing up to show people that you're actually showing up. But behind the scenes, are you really showing up? That's what counts. The behind the scenes work is what counts. What you do when nobody's looking is what counts. How you show up for yourself, how you show up for your team is what counts. How you show up in the charts is what counts. And how do you do that? By planning. And how do you start to begin to plan? You gotta expect change. You have to understand that change has to come. You cannot enter into this space or enter into any type of a new space with old behaviors, with old habitual behaviors, and expect to see success in the new space. Change has to happen. Anything that has life, anything that is able to grow. So us as humans, right? Then you have plants and nature. Then you have insects, bugs, caterpillars turning into butterflies. Change has to come with time. But understand that your time is your time. But don't sit on your time. Don't hold yourself back from what needs to be done. Don't hold yourself back from the tasks at hand. Just because you say, oh, I'm doing it on my time. No, you're being lazy. Simple. Just be real with yourself, right? So understand that when time comes for change, you have to start to sacrifice a lot of things. You have to start to sacrifice, again, old habitual behaviors. You have to start to sacrifice certain things in your environment, who you hang around, who you talk to, who's influencing you, who are you influencing? Sometimes you might have to step back from the people who you've always been able to help so that you can help yourself, so then you can go back and help them again. Right? A lot of us lose friends when it comes to this space. A lot of us, people start to look at us sideways because people don't like change. Right? People don't like change. So once they start to hear you once they start to hear you talking about something that's completely different, out of the norm, off the wall type of stuff, they're going to look at you like, but that doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just stay the same? Why wouldn't you just be content where you are? Be content with where I'm at now? No, sweetheart. You're destined for so much more. You're destined for so much bigger. You're here on this earth to fulfill all of your goals. You're here on this earth to accomplish everything that you've been set out to accomplish. You're here to fulfill your purpose, and you're equipped with everything that you need to fulfill those things. You just got to go out and find it. You just got to go out and look for your resources. Start to milk your resources and get all the information that you need, and then apply it. Because you have it. You have it in you. You just got to pull it out of you. Right? Cool. So when you're starting to change now, understand that you got to start to go around and acquire new knowledge, acquire new information. The school systems, the system is what's messed up, not the schooling aspect of it, not the learning aspect of it. The system of which it's held in is messed up. But the foundation of it, where you're actually learning new knowledge, that is necessary. That is most definitely necessary. And Mel spoke about that when she talked about who is it? Ford and education. I don't need to know everything. I just need to know what I need to know, right? So not just because we graduated high school and graduated college or wherever your schooling lays, or even if we didn't graduate or whatever the case is, wherever you lay in that spectrum, understand that you still need to continue to learn. You need to continue to expand your brain, expand your mindset, and expand your range of ideas. It's like your brain is like a t-shirt, your mind is like a t-shirt. Once you overstretch it, it's not going to shrink back naturally. One thing I heard on the call yesterday I was listening to is it was actually a video. You don't need to memorize everything, right? You don't have to memorize everything. Understand that once you learn it, it's here. It's here. And when time comes for you to retain that information or pull it out, you're going to be able to reach it. You may not remember it off the top of your head if somebody says, hey, can you tell me the Pythagorean theorem and blah, blah, blah. No, chill out, hold on, wait for it, right? But in the times that is necessary, when you bring it out, it's going to flow naturally. Some of these may be scriptures. Some of these may be passages, poems, music. For me, it's dance. I hear a song and I can see myself doing the dance over and over again. Right? There's times where maybe I miss a dance move or two, but if I continuously sit in it, if I continuously replay it over and over again, I'm going to recollect the entire dance because I've learned it. Right? Once you learn something, you cannot unlearn it. It's literally just sitting there in your subconscious. So why are you going to limit your learning when your limit to learning is literally endless? Right? When it comes to security and change, understand, like, okay, again, you have to change. Because if you don't change, your future is going to run you over. Your future is literally going to run you over because you have not changed with the times. You have not continued to progress. You end up in a vicious cycle, and then at some point you no longer can handle it. You no longer can take it, or you're living in complacency, or whatever the case is. Your future is going to run you over because you didn't take your learning seriously. You didn't take your past seriously. You didn't take your planning of what you need to do to get there seriously. And there's going to be a time where it hits you like a ton of bricks, like, damn, I should have paid attention more back in the day. I should have done more when I had the time. Or I should have shown up a little bit more when I had the time, or applied the information a little bit more. Why? Because you see what it could have done for you, or you see where you could have been. It's never too late though. Start today. Start today and tell yourself, I'm going to change. I'm going to change the way I view different things. Understand we're in a space where our eyes are open. We're a little bit more woke than the rest of the world when it comes to finance and how things operate, right? And so we're going to change your perspective, change how you view your situations, right? I see you, right? Then you're going to change your work ethic, right? If you already have a bomb work ethic, cool, that's blessed. Now we're going to implement this information, things that we need to learn within this space to that work ethic. You're going to change, you're going to shift the way you're working, or you're going to shift the information that you're focusing on when it comes to this stuff, right? Then you're going to start to change you. To be honest, you need to change you first. That's where it all comes, right? Change the way you speak, change the way you look, start to change the way you feel. You can literally change the way you feel. You control your emotions. Don't let your emotions control you. You have full control over your body. You are not a slave to your body. You need to tell yourself that. You need to tell yourself that you're going to overcome whatever signals or sounds or messages that your body is giving you. You're not going to allow it to take over you. Sometimes you do what you got to do, but not a constant. Every single time you let everything your body tells you or feeds to you, you let it affect you. Pay attention to it. Learn to get a hold of it. Learn to figure out where that thought and that emotion and those actions are coming from. Find the root of the issue. Find the root of your actions and learn how to harness it. Learn how to bring it out when necessary. Not every time it calls for a reaction. Not every time, not everything deserves a reaction. Not everything deserves your attention or your energy. Dan said it this morning, protect your energy. You have to protect your energy. You can't let anybody who's within vicinity of you or any situation around you come and have a down on your emotions, because then you'll never have control over you. If other people can have controls over you, you're like a marionette doll. Don't do that. Don't be like that. You got to be like just here all the time. Just be here. Be present. Be aware. Cool. It's not easy for everybody to do, but that's something you got to change. You got to work on that, right? I'm going to change the way you speak, present yourself, the way you address yourself, or whatever the case is. I think it was in 48 Laws. You basically want to act the way you want to be treated, and that's exactly how people are going to treat you. If you act like a king or queen, you will be treated as such because people are going to respect you. And if people don't respect you, they don't deserve your time. Point blank. If you can't respect me and my space and my morals or whatever the case is, you don't deserve my time. You don't respect me, I'm not going to give you my time. Straight up. Or you're not going to get my energy. If it's something where I can't escape, you're just not going to get my energy from me. I'm not going to reply to you until you can learn how to respect me. I'm not going to answer any questions you have. I'm not going to reply to any of your comments. I'm not going to fight it out or debate. It's not up for debate. I hold myself to a higher standard. If you can't respect that, then I'm sorry, I don't have time for you. I'm not sorry. You demand it. You demand it from people, right? You put out that energy that you want to receive back. And a lot of times, once you put it out there, first impression, people are going to feed off of that altogether. Especially there are people who literally come out as predators, looking for prey, looking for people to pick on. I'm going to use a restaurant example. There's some customers where you go to the table and they're on your ass. Okay, but I've been waiting for so-and-so. How you doing today? Hi, how are you? After they've just given me a whole rant of, I've been waiting for 20 minutes to get my food. This place is shit, da, 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 da. Hi, how are you today? Kill them with kindness. Demand that respect. Some of them can't handle it, they walk out. Okay, bye. You didn't want the service that bad then. You didn't want to eat that bad, or you can go to takeout. You can see it's a busy restaurant, but you can't respect me now that I've come to the table. I don't have time for you. I have other customers to tend to. You can go. Ask Ebony, ask my mom. I'm not playing. I don't play. I don't play. Some people, yo. You can say, excuse me though. You can say, excuse me, miss, hi. Then I'll respect you. Then I'll give you my attention. But you got to demand it. Once you start to reply to the lower standard type of energy, they're going to keep feeding it into you. There are people who literally smell fear and then attack. So once you have that confidence, once you hold your head high, once you start to paint that image of, you can say whatever you want to me, it's not going to faze me. They don't have fun fighting it. They don't have fun picking at it. They don't have fun attacking you because it doesn't faze you. They move on. You play by my rules or we don't play. You're not going to try and knock me down. You're not. You can try if you want. I can't stop you from trying, to be honest. But I'm letting you know you're not going to knock me down because I'm up here. And you're hitting me here. Sorry. Maybe if you try for a higher blow. But you can't get that high because you're already trying to knock me down. You can only knock me down from the bottom. Come on now. Don't play. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Start to change your habits. Start to change the way you see situations. Start to change the way you react to situations. Start to change the way you see yourself. The little things. You look in the mirror and you tell yourself, I'm a king, I'm a queen. I hold myself to the highest standard. Nobody can come and walk all over me. Nobody can come on and stomp on the things that I'm doing. Nobody can come talk down on me. Nobody can come and try and tell me negative things or poke holes into what it is that I'm doing. No, that's just to bring me back down to where they're at. No, I don't look down on anybody unless I'm looking to help you up. But understand, if you're trying to knock down my tree, good luck. My roots are deep, deep. It's a solid foundation because I've worked on it and worked on it and worked on it over the years. When you work in a 24-hour restaurant at the edge of the hood, on the overnights, dealing with the party goers, dealing with the after crowd, dealing with the ignorance and the rude people, you build that backbone, right? For those who don't have that opportunity or whatever the case is, or maybe you feel like you don't have that confidence, or you feel like you don't have that backbone to stand up for yourself or to hold yourself up to a higher value, you just got to tell yourself every day until you believe it. You should believe it from the jump. But sometimes people get in your ear. Sometimes people like to manipulate you. Sometimes, like I said, the predators will come out and hunt for the prey, right? There are going to be people that get into your head that tell you can't do it, tell you you're not this, you're not that. You need to change your environment if that's the case. Change who you're hanging around. Change what you're listening to. Change who you take your advice from. Because anybody who is not trying to knock you down is because that they're not doing anything for themselves. Anybody who's doing something for themselves is always telling you, yo, don't give up. It's always telling you, you got this. It's always telling you you're going to make it. I see you and I'm rooting for you. You will never have somebody who is doing something or who has gone through their process and has been successful tell you that you can't do it. You'll never have them tell you that you're not going to make it. Unless they come from an envious spot, that's different. That's them reaching the success without them changing who they are, changing that mindset, changing that paradigm. Because people will have success and not change their paradigm. Right? People will have that success and still have that ugly jealousy bone within them. That's gonna, say, oh, but I did this. Oh, and now you're doing this? I don't know if you can do it though. That's not genuine. Remove yourself from that. Right? Two things. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past and the present will be certain to miss the future. I'm gonna say it again. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past and the present will be certain to miss the future, right? Even the present cannot be trusted. Because look, it just left a moment ago. Mel was just here and then she left a moment ago. The present cannot be trusted. You can't look at where you're at right now. You can't look into the past because you can't change that, right? You got to look into the future. Everybody's ideal version of themselves is not somebody who they've already encountered. Otherwise you necessarily would just be your ideal version of yourself, living that ideal life that you've always wanted to live. I don't think any of us are there right now. So for you to find your ideal version of yourself, you have to reach into your future. You have to continue to look forward and focus up. You have to continue to project that image in your head. Do all that mental rehearsing, right? Close your eyes. Picture exactly where it is that you want to be, what you want to be wearing. Where do you want to wake up? Where do you want to live? Who do you wake up next to? Who are your friends? Who are you hanging around? You want to have that mental image of everything. How are you going to cross that stage? What are you going to wear when you cross that stage? What are you going to say? What are you going to do? How are you going to act? You have to close your eyes. And because when you close your eyes, your vision is literally going to be what's going to help you get to your future. Your vision is going to be that blueprint, that mental image, that picture of what you want to have done, what you want to get, what you want to do in the future. So you sit with that image and you sit there and mentally rehearse all the things that you need to do. Then you have to wake up and realize that you're still here in the present moment. So what happens now? In order for you to get to the future, there has to be change. There has to be planning. You have to account for your time. And you have to understand that coming into this new space, you can't bring old habits, right? So now you figure out and pinpoint, what do I need to change? How do I need to change it? What's going to stop me from getting there? What's going to help me get there? And apply it. And just apply the information, right? The next thing is, if you want to make enemies, try to change something in your life. And it's going to happen. To be honest, when you have haters, you're doing something right. If you want to make enemies, try to change something in your life. People do not want things or you to change. So when you meet someone who wants to change things, or when you become that somebody who wants to change things, enemies will automatically be created. People are going to start to get jealous. People are going to start to envy you. People are going to start to look at you sideways saying, yo, you're crazy. Why would you do that? Why did you change? Right? Why are you now doing things differently? It is what it is. Some people just don't want to change. Some people want to just sit in the present, sit in their exact moment. But understand the present where you are now, and if you hold this 10 years, 20 years later, you're going to be sick. Because the world is changing. Time is changing. Technology is changing. The world as we know it right here, right now, has changed. So who are you to not change? Who are you to still sit there and say, oh, I have job security, I don't need this. Or I have job security, or I don't need to, put in this effort, or I got 2 jobs, I got 3 jobs, I'm good. You got 3 jobs. Okay, so where's your time at? What are you doing with your time? You spending the bulk of your time working? Nothing wrong with working. Cool. If that's what you're passionate about and you're doing what you love. But do you have 3 jobs because you have mouths to feed? Do you have 3 jobs because you have no other choice, because you have bills to pay? That's why you're working those jobs. That's when you need to open up and wake up and pay attention and be like, listen, COVID happened. Everybody lost their jobs. Unless you were an essential worker. And even a lot of essential workers had their jobs or their hours cut. Right? Where did your job security go? I thought you had 3 jobs. I thought you were making money. I thought you were working. I thought you were good. Helen Keller said security is mostly a superstition. And this is interesting because Helen Keller, if y'all know who she is, was deaf, blind, and mute. I think she was, the first deaf, blind, mute person to graduate from something or whatever the case is. Be super successful, super educated, right? So she said security is mostly a superstition. Anytime you think you are secure, you are suspicious. It's not true. You're not secure, right? You are never secure. So put your faith into something that doesn't change. What doesn't change? Time is a constant, right? Change changes, so you can't really put your faith into change. But you can, because change will always be there. Change is a constant, right? And the next thing is the highest power, the universe, God, whoever you believe in. Put your faith into God, something that doesn't change. God doesn't change, right? Security does not exist in nature. Anything living, like we said, anything that goes through life cycles has to change. We live in a world that's constantly evolving, constantly upgrading and getting better and doing more and more and more. Things have to change. The same system that we used donkey years ago doesn't work in today's day and age. Sitting down and getting educated, mind you, the school systems back then, you're getting a lot of information and knowledge and you're cool, education is blessed, but you didn't have the technology like you did today. You would literally have to go into the libraries and sit down for hours and hours and hours and go study. Sit down and search through these pages for this information to learn. Now we have something called Google. Whatever you want to know right at your fingertips. Things are changing. The way you learn is changing. And that's why it's funny, I find a lot of people who are entrepreneurs don't do well in school, in the regular school system, especially people like in my personal surroundings right now. I see like my cousins and stuff growing up, super smart kids. I'm like, oh, yo, how's school? Yo, school's not it right now. So why is that? It's this the system is messed up. There used to be straight A students. I was one straight A student, dropped out of college. I'm destined for more. I'm sitting here wasting my time learning things. It's not really a waste of time, but if I'm trying to get something done right here, right now, I'm going to tap into the education that's going to give me that information right here, right now, which is why I decided to join the academy, especially knowing I can make money as I'm learning. I was tired of learning unnecessary things that weren't going to help me in the long run. I was tired of wasting my time and my efforts putting into systems that are outdated in the world that we live in today. I understood that there was going to be a huge shift. I understood that if I was feeling like this, I know I'm not the first one to feel like this. So I had to look for something different. I had to look for something that was gonna still educate me, because I love learning. There's nothing wrong with learning. It's just I need to be interested in what it is that I'm learning. I need to see a return on what it is that I'm learning, right? Otherwise I get frustrated, I get bored with it. So tapping into this education, tapping into this information, now I'm still learning, and I've now changed a lot. I've now changed how I view things, how I see things, how I speak, how I carry myself. I'm not the same girl from high school. I'm not the same girl from college. I'm not the same girl from 2 years ago from when I entered into this space. A lot has changed. You got to change with the times. And again, this is a space where you accelerate at a very fast rate with the information that's being given to us. We're literally time jumping, time lapsing, or whatever, the time traveling. There we go. Right? Nor do the children of men as a whole experience security. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. That's what she said. Nor do the children of men as a whole experience security. So people, as humans, we don't experience true security, right? There's always something to say, hey, there's a possibility that this may happen. There's a possibility that that may happen. There's always going to be that risk factor. There's always going to be that what if factor, right? The second part of the quote, avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. So you not doing it and you not shying away from it and you shying away from it and you not actually trying because you're scared and you're nervous. And this is why we say, sit on the edge of your uncomfort zone. Sit in your uncomfort zone. Get uncomfortable with being get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? And then you want to sit at the edge of your uncomfort zone. So you're right off bat always tapping into something that's going to be different, that's going to scare you, that's going to, get you feeling funny, that's going to challenge who you may think you are. And the quicker you are to snap and do it anyways is going to be the quicker you grow. Is going to be the quicker you see change. Because now you're putting yourself into that space where you're able to actually learn from your experiences, good or bad. You try something, it works. Boom. What if I never tried it? I would have never known that it worked. Maybe you try something and it doesn't work. Cool. Now I know. It's better than not knowing at all. Because now you're at least giving it the benefit of the doubt. Right? But that doubt, that fear and that doubt's going to hold you back from a lot of beautiful things. Avoiding danger is no safer. Avoiding the task is no safer. Avoiding your uncomfort is no safer than you actually getting it done, than you actually showing up for it, right? If you are afraid to do something, do it anyways. Not doing it can change you either way. Not doing it is going to change you. It might change you in a way that doesn't even benefit your growth. Maybe it holds you back, or maybe it sets you back. Maybe it changes you in a way to be okay with complacency, with being okay with being in the safe zone. Maybe it changes you in a way where now you never try anything. Now you never take a risk. And because of that, you never grow, right? If you want to step out in faith and do something, don't consider what you are at the moment. Don't consider where you currently are. Don't consider how you're currently feeling. Because if you want to step out into faith, you have to put your trust into that faith. You have to have the faith in the thing that you're going to do. You don't know how it's going to go. The similar thing between the similarity between fear and faith. You don't know what's on the other side of it. So if you have faith that it's going to work out, if you have faith that you're going to muscle through it, cool. Don't start to think about where you're at right now. If you have faith in it, you have faith in it full force. I have faith in this business, so I'm not looking at my current stance right now. I'm not looking at my current results right now because I know where I'm headed. I know what I'm going to get done. Right? So don't look at how you're feeling right now. I don't feel like doing it. Okay, cool, but you're dedicated. You have faith in this, right? You made a commitment, right? You said you were going to get this done, right? And that's another thing. Once you say something, once you say you're going to do something, you put that conviction out into the earth, into the universe. And it's literally one of those where it's like, okay, cool. I'm going to be a chairwoman. Hey, universe said, yeah, all right. Let's start to test you. Let's start to see if you're really meant for this. Let's start to see if you can actually muscle through all the problems I'm about to throw your way. Because if you can, you'll be a chairwoman. You'll get exactly what you want. But I'm not going to come light. I'm going to make sure I'm hitting you with some real stuff. You're going to get knocked up. If you can make it back up after falling down 9 times, you'll get it. You get up a 10th time, you'll make it there. So once you put that conviction out into the earth, expect change to come. Expect things to start flipping upside down. Expect the roadblocks to start to come your way. It's too easy to have a clear pathway. It doesn't make it feel the same. It doesn't give you that same sense of like, whoa, I did that. I went through it, but I really did that. So you gotta just go through it. You put the conviction out there, cool. Now you're gonna get tested. Now are you strong enough to fight the fight? And if you're not strong enough to fight the fight, what are you going to change to be strong enough? What are you going to change to build up your muscle mass? Right? What are you going to start to plan to help you move towards that goal that you just put out into the earth? What habits? How is your discipline? Do you have to change how disciplined you are? That is a big thing, if not one of the biggest keys. Because the discipline is what's going to keep you going. Being persistently consistent is what's going to keep you going. Be disciplined enough to say, I'm going to still show up no matter what. I'm going to still show up. Doesn't matter how I'm feeling. Doesn't matter what's going on in my day. Doesn't matter what I want to do. Doesn't matter where I'm currently at. Doesn't matter what results I'm getting. I'm still going to show up because I have faith in this. I made a commitment. So I'm going to stay disciplined and I'm going to stay 10 toes and I'm just going to work every single day and work and work and work because there is no security in anything. There's no security in your jobs. There's no security in where you're currently sitting at now, because where you're currently sitting right now, 5 years or 10 years from now could be very detrimental. 6 months, 1 year from now could be very detrimental. Right? So there's I'm gonna close off with this real quick. There's 8 responses people have to change, right? You can resist it, you can ignore it, you can accept it, you can adjust to it. That's the first 4, right? You can resist it, you could ignore it, you can accept it, and you can adjust to it, right? Number 5, you can manage change, but you can't stop it. So you can manage and you can literally, this is where the planning comes in, right? You can manage and you can plan exactly what you want to do with your time and your space and figure out the little things that you need so that you can make those changes to moving forward, right? Because you're not going to stop change regardless. You're going to grow, right? Today you're 24 and 3 months and 6 days. Tomorrow you'll be 24, 3 months and 7 days, right? You can't stop change. You have to keep growing. Manage it, Can't stop it. Number 6, you can become a victim of change, or you can manipulate change. So if you want to become a victim of change, you're allowing your future to come and truck you over. Right? Don't play the victim in these spaces when you have full control. Don't play the victim when life starts to throw you a curveball, because you have full control. Regardless of, life happens for you, right? Not to you. However it may be, maybe it's just the way that you react to certain things. So how are you going to manipulate that change? How are you going to make it work in your favor? Right? Flood in the house. I got holes up in my wall. Cool. Now we renovating. Boom. How are you going to manipulate that change to work in your favor? Right? Next one is you can prepare and plan for change, but again, you can't stop it. You can prepare and plan for change. Sometimes it's literally sudden death. Boom. That's a change. You can't stop it. There's certain things that are going to happen that you have no control over, but how you react to the situations is how you're going to control it. You got to be able to maneuver through change as change comes, right? And number 8, you can initiate change. You can be the change. You're the one saying, hey, this and this and this needs to change. You're the one telling yourself, okay, I need to get this and this done. Or if I want to see my community do better, I'm going to first help myself so that I can go back and help them effectively. It doesn't make sense for me to start feeding somebody food that isn't fully cooked. Why do that? You're going to start feeding somebody some chicken or whatever the case is, but you haven't actually took the time to let it properly bake, let it properly cook. Now you're feeding people raw chicken. That's going to make people sick. That's an infection. You don't want that. You want to initiate good change. So for you to be the proper change, you got to first change yourself. Be the change you wish to see in the world. That's Gandhi, I believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Right? Be the change you wish to see in the world. Because it has to start from within. It has to start with you. It has to start with the conversation that you're having from you before you have that conversation from you to somebody else. You talk to you. You mentor you. You pull yourself out of that hole. You change the life that you want to live. You plan out your future. You figure out your blueprint. You start to work on your roadmap. You start to build your foundation. It has to start with you. It has to start from somewhere. You can be in this space and you can be doing the things that everybody's doing, but if you are not changing who you are, if you are not changing you and your goals and your mindset and your paradigms, it doesn't matter. You are going to fall right back to exactly where you are. Your money is going to meet you where you're at. So you have to grow within. You have to change. You have to push. You got to be that one. 8 responses people have to change. You can resist it. You can ignore it. You can accept it. You can adjust it. You can manage it. You can become a victim of it. You can prepare and plan for it, or you can initiate it. So you choose how you want to act when change comes. You choose what it is that you need to do when change comes. You choose and you decide what are going to be the necessary next steps to take when you have a sudden change, when you have those changes that you don't even see coming, instead of just reacting to it. Because now reacting to it, you're wasting your energy. Channel it, harness it. Find that seed of opportunity when you get hit with adversity. We're in a space where we all need to grow. We're all here to grow. We're all here to help each other grow. We're all here to learn. We're all here to reach some wild, really wild, unrealistic goals, right? Those goals are not going to happen if we don't effectively and consciously make a change in our lives. So I encourage each and every one of you today, as you step out into the world today, as you put your energy into the world today, be that change that you want to see. Be aware of everything, your surroundings, how you're talking, how you're putting things out there, because you're going to get it right back. It's law of the universe. Whatever you put out has to come back to you tenfold. So be careful of the energy that you're putting out, right? Walk high in your purpose, my kings and queens. Y'all have an amazing, safe, and blessed day. Be the change y'all want to see in the world. But that's all from me. I'm going to see y'all in the 12-3-5-9s. I'm going to see y'all in the rest of the trainings. Be the best version of you today. I'm going to holler at y'all later.